the X-factor. And this is actually a common term in golf, where they'll show from above, if a golfer has a sideways stance, they want the shoulders to really wind up. I'm not a good golfer, you can tell, such that if this is the line of my shoulders now, and this is the line of my hips, we've created an X. And that X has to do with something called the stretch shorten cycle, where if you stretch a muscle and then contract it, it has more force, so that even if you're lifting curls, you've got X amount of, you have a certain amount of force if the arm is straight. You have more force if you sort of bounce the weight and stretch the muscle. Now, what this has to do is with the open stance, and I think somehow a misunderstanding in tennis. An open stance, in my mind, means that at impact, the hips are more or less facing the net, as opposed to something that's sideways. But when I see players at the club practicing an open stance, unless they're strong as a bull, I don't see them turn their shoulders enough, such that they're muscling when they hit. But if you watch the pros that hit from an open stance, they go to the same X. And if you look very carefully now, the camera sees my back, and I can feel all kind of muscle stretching in here, such that even though the stance is open, I get more torque. And so, as you play this game, it's becoming much more of a rotational game these days. It used to be a weight shift game when the rackets were heavy. I have many of those rackets, and maybe even now I'm getting heavy. But when you're trying to create more power on an open stance stroke, go to the X-factor, create an X, and you'll have a much better hit than if you stay open with hips and shoulders, and that all you can do is arm it. The X-factor from golf, and I'll tell you, in many ways, there's really good parallels between golf and tennis.